All right, we should be good to go. Welcome back, everyone, to yet another Moonshire Monday, and hopefully everything's set up properly, but let me know if there's any issues. Today we're going to be working on a little bit of pixel art, but there's a few things I want to talk about first. Actually, also, I need to get my chat pop-out moved over here so I can see it. And let's move that over here. Okay. Seen a few folks in chat already. I'll go ahead and read those out as soon as the stream probably catches up. One thing I want to start implementing for these is like a countdown timer. I know I've been talking about that for a while, but the thing is I want to make a song for it, a custom song that'll play during that intro screen, and I haven't really finished that yet. But one thing I want to mention before we start is that ChalaChat, the chat software that's appearing above my head, all that custom code, it's available on Steam, and it's available for free right now. So if you go to Steam and you search for ChalaChat, you can see my store page. Whoops, I'm not gonna play the song, but I would love it if anyone is interested. Check it out. It's a software for capturing chat for any live stream, and then it displays it in OBS and stuff. I can see that there's a little bit of like a gap between the song and the messages. Let me see if I can fix that. I'm gonna change it to bottom up like that. I think this can be better. Yeah, that already looks a lot better. But I'm gonna call that a bug. Another bug I noticed is the music text. Can I use ChalaChat? Of course. Yeah, it's free. Is like, look, it's gonna like blip once in a while. If you watch the scrolling music, at some point it like screws up the scroll and then it changes. It's hard for me to point it out until it happens. For me, the stream is the same time again. You were talking about having daylight savings. Oh yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. But we got a lot of folks in chat already. I really appreciate you all being here. I see Wolf and Jellomations, Spooky Straw Baron, Dynamite Guy, Banana, Jellomations, Lucky Ushun, and Pianogram. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate that. Paperbag Kid, and let's see who else was in here earlier. Halo Doodles, Mariah, Toasted Bananas. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate all the support. I see a lot of familiar names. I recognize a lot of the folks. I really appreciate the support and all the returning folks. Today I'm going to be working on some pixel art. So specifically, I have these objects like the barrel here, and when I hit it, it like flies off a bunch of debris. And right now there's a few problems. One is that they fly away like really far, and I don't want it to be like that. But another thing is that I need to make like a lot more. Music's loud. You're right. It is loud. Thank you. When did I become my guy? I don't know. Dan, welcome in. Hey, Child Kid, will there be holiday-themed updates to Moonshire? Like, will there be a Halloween update in October? That would be a really cool idea. And I think that eventually the game will reach a point where I can do, like, monthly updates or just a small amount of content that gets updated every so often to keep people coming back. Right now, the game is still in just, like, the engine phase, the fundamental stuff. So hopefully, like, once the things become a little more streamlined, we'll be able to get some regular content. So, in a while, why is the character yellow? Oh, you can change the character's color. I think that you can do it in this screen. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can change the color to whatever you want. In fact, it's fully customizable. I'll show the code for that. I go over to color. The way this works is, by default, the player is red, and it has all these red colors. But you can see that I have like different definitions for orange and yellow. It's like a different spectrum of colors that will be used if you switch the palette over to that. So literally, it's swapping it from the red coloration of the sprite and swapping the colors out with these yellow ones. And it decides to do that from, I'll show this too. The save data, I have all the save data here. If I open up the player.json, you can see the player details on this side. It's a little small. Actually, I'll just move it over here. And here's where the color details for the player takes place. You can see that every part of the player can be swapped to a different color. So one thing that we could do is change it to like a bunch of different colors. One thing that I like to do is I like the head to be white. And then I like the arm to be green, and belly I think is white, and then cloak is green. And then eyes are green. I really like this one. I should make it more easy to set it to that, but when you do that... Oh, it didn't change my eyes. The eyes still need to be fixed. But it changed the individual pieces, where now I have the green cloak. That's the green cloak that I set. And all the rest of it is like white and silver. But it is still a problem that the eyes didn't get set, because you can see in the code I changed it so eyes were green. It's supposed to swap the eyes for that green color palette. I think the reason why it didn't is because by default it uses the red color palette and the eyeballs are not red. We could test this actually. I might be able to just change that sprite to be a red like eyeball, and then it will swap correctly, but I'm not gonna keep it that way. I'm gonna go over to sprites, and this is in the hero folder, eyes, closed, open, pane. Okay, and then, yeah, they're just all white. I don't think I wanna... I'm just gonna test and see if it works for one of them. So like the open eyes, if we change this to be the same color as like the player's cloak, the red. Oh, Rick Carlson, the old screensaver Johnny Castaway had a jack-o'-lantern for Halloween as well as other decorations for different holidays. I'm nostalgic for like RuneScape. When I was a kid, I would play RuneScape, and they always had Halloween events and Easter and Christmas stuff. I always thought that was cool. Maybe you aren't updating the player's eye sprite. Well, yeah, that's exactly what's happening, is that the player sprite, if I go over to the hero, the hero normally, each individual piece, like if I open up the head uses the red coloration. It has the red and the light red and then the dark red. And what I'm saying is that since the eyeballs don't have any red, it's mistakenly, it doesn't realize that it's just a plain white sprite. So I think that if I were to change this to be red, I think that it'll work. But that's still a hacky fix. I don't think that's gonna be... Oh no, it didn't work. It didn't work. It's not swapping it at all. I don't think I'm gonna be able to fix that right now. Well, let's just at least look through and see how it works. Post some more Moonshire devlogs or videos in general, just because it takes a lot of time. And I've been teasing that I've been working on a video right now, and hopefully it'll come out this week, but no promises. I know it's a horrible habit that I've fallen into, where I just haven't been posting videos. I like that I'm streaming every week, but that's just not enough. I really should be posting videos, and I'm with you, but the big reason why I haven't is because each of those devlogs, even though they're like 5 or 6 minutes long, those take a lot of work. It takes me so much time. It takes me like a day just to write the whole script and iterate on it and come up with all the ideas, and then another day to record all the audio and edit it and get all the music mixed in, and then another day to record all the clips. There's so many clips I need to get, and sometimes I need to capture gameplay footage from regular games, and that takes a long time too. Then the editing process is time consuming. Even when I have all the stuff ready, putting it all together and making it mesh is just so... long story short, like, I'm complaining about a job. It just takes a long time to make videos. And this is the thing, is when you spend time making a video, that's time that you're not working on the game. And that's my big problem, is I really feel like I have to be making progress on the game, otherwise it just doesn't it feels so bad. And the one thing I guess I can show is my GitHub profile, because on GitHub it shows you the green boxes. This shows all of the commits that you've made. So even though I don't post on YouTube nearly as much, like hardly at all, I do my streams and I do like very occasional videos. I want to get on a more regular schedule. I really would like that. I haven't ever stopped working on the game. Like, I am always making commits. Every single green square is just code changes. It's just more stuff being updated to either the game or Chow Chat or something. But, you know, it's a lot easier to show this off compared to making a video. So the next video I want to work on, actually, is a video about the Z-axis. So if I go over... Well, so the Z-axis is just the jumping. How My game is a 2D flat game. There is no Z-axis at all, but I just implemented my own fake Z-axis. So you can jump around, things can go in the air. I think I still have my balloons. Yeah, I showed the balloons last week, how they float in the air. Oh, I love that. These balloons are so much fun. That's so nice. Oh, whoops, I wasn't full screen. There we go. Balloonshire. Baron, can I use that? I actually like that a lot. That's really clever. That sounds like something I would say. I really, really like that. Have I played Sonic Racing Cross Worlds? No, I heard it was amazing though. Like it came out of nowhere. It's the shadow giving an illusion. Exactly. And in fact, if I pull up the colliders, that helps illustrate it as well. And someone mentioned this in an earlier stream, how it is kind of odd that the collider is situated around the base where the shadow is, and the sprite is just opposite. But at the same time, when I show it this way, I think it demonstrates pretty clearly how it's working, essentially, is that the object is still on a flat 2D plane, same as the player, but being airborne is just an optical illusion. I really love this. What I wanted to see is if I could figure out... I normally don't like coding on stream because whenever I have to debug something, it requires me to really focus in, and I don't like not focusing on the chat. What is your reason for not using a game engine? I don't have a specific reason. It's just that when I was learning the different, or when I was trying out the different options, you know, all of those game engines and frameworks, they're all free. So what I did is I just downloaded all of them and I tried them all out, and I made really, really basic little projects and followed some simple tutorials in all of them, just to get a feel for which ones I liked. And Love 2D is the one that I liked the best. It just clicked. And that's literally the only reason why I chose it and stuck with it, is because I liked it. And I think that's generally how I recommend everyone decide on their engine, is just try them all out, and whichever one you like is the one that you should use. Because if you like using your engine, you are much more likely to actually complete a game if you enjoy it. But if you force yourself and say, oh, I have to use monogame because that's what Stardew Valley was made with, and that's what Celeste was made with. I have to use monogame because it has console export features, but I hate using monogame. Oh, it's so tedious. There's so much overhead. I hate using Visual Studio. Well, then you're not going to finish the game because because you don't like using it. You don't like using it, and it's the same with Unity. Personally, I didn't like using Unity or Unreal just because it's so heavy and big. It's a very, very heavy program, and at the time I had a bad computer. I didn't really have anything fancy. Today I have a much better computer. I'd be able to do it. But considering at the time I didn't have a very good computer, a lightweight framework really suits that nicely, so I think that's cool. Wouldn't it be cool if the balloon bounces back? Yeah, I think it does. Sorry, I think you're right. It would be cool because, like you said, right now, if I push a balloon into like a wall or a tree, I think it just stops. Yeah, it just stops. Like you said, it would make a lot more sense if it bounced off. How could I... Oh, that would be hard, actually. Surprisingly, that would be hard. Because that would actually require me to use the built-in Box 2D physics and do like an on-collision event, which normally I don't do that. That is what I would do, though. I think that's what I need to do. And I don't think that there's a naturally... Is there a bounce factor for the Love 2D physics? I'm gonna look it up just to see, just to double check. Love 2D physics bounce. Well, this is a forum post. This isn't really very helpful. I think that I will have to do physics callbacks in order to do that. So what I think that we'll have to do is whenever that's so heavy though. What I'm suggesting is that when it should detect when a collision takes place. And right now it's not. It's just accepting forces. It's accepting forces, but it's not applying its own forces. And that's what needs to happen here. When it collides with that wall, it needs to apply another force to change its direction to, like, angle back downwards, you know. What games do you play when it's Halloween? I'm actually kind of a wimp when it comes to scary games. I don't really play scary games, but I do like watching scary games. I love watching, like, Resident Evil, the new ones that come out, and I always get freaked out. Is it morning there right now? Yes. I live in the US, and it is 10:20 a.m. right now. I guess you can calculate the direction every frame so you can get the balloon speed, and then once it collides with something, reverse speed. Yeah, that's exactly what I think that I would need to do. But that seems like something that's so common. I almost wonder if there exists a built-in function or something that can do that without me. Sorry, the screen keeps flashing. I'm gonna see if I can ask or search a little bit more, because I searched online and I wasn't able to find it. So let me ask, like, a different one. Let's say, is there a feature in Love 2D's physics engine where objects bounce on collision? So we'll see what it says to this, because I looked it up online and I couldn't find any function in the documentation. It says, yes, there absolutely is. In the world of love, which uses Box 2D physics engine, bounciness is technically called restitution. Restitution determines how much kinetic energy is retained after a collision. You apply this property to a fixture rather than the body itself. How it works. The value for restitution is typically a decimal between 0 and 1. 0 equals no bounce at all, an inelastic collision like a plastic piece of clay hitting a floor. 1, a perfect bounce, an elastic collision where the object returns with the same energy it hits with. That's what we would be doing for a balloon. And greater than 1 possible but unrealistic, the object actually gains speed. And that's funny. That does sound like a gamey thing. That's like you jump on a bouncy mushroom and it launches you in the air. Implementation. To make an object bounce, you use the set restitution method on the fixture. Here's a quick example of how you would set it up. So where does he do it? Set restitution. Okay. What's the default restitution? Combined restitution. When two objects collide, Box2T has to decide how bouncy the interaction is. Dude, I think this is gonna work automatically. That's really, really cool. But I'm gonna look up the actual documentation for Love 2D set restitution. Restitution. Sets the restitution of the fixture. Restitution determines how much a body bounces after a collision. Okay. So it's on the fixture. So this is something that I'm gonna have to do in my custom physics wrapper. So I have my own physics wrapper where, so context, there is a Love 2D library, an open source one called Windfield, but it's outdated, and I made my own like replacement called physics.lua, and I'm gonna open source this at some point, but right now this is the physics engine that I'm running off of, or it's like a physics wrapper. It takes the Box 2D engine and makes it a little bit easier to work with. That's what Windfield does as well. It invents this collider concept. So I was talking a second ago how in this code, this is the fixture set restitution. So whenever you look at one of these physics bodies, like the player or the tree or these balloons, this like shape that you see here, this octagon, this is what I call a collider. This is something that Windfield invented because it combines the body, the shape, and the fixture all into one single entity. So this balloon, this octagon here, it is a shape, a body, and a fixture all combined into one single thing called a collider. So when we say collider, it's the combination of those three things. And I think I should be able to search for like fixture. So we can see that this is where the fixture gets like set or gets created when the collider gets created. We create the body, we create the fixture, and where is the shape? Yeah, here it is. Oh yeah, the shape is defined by these if statements. Because you can define specific vertices, and you can make a physics shape that's as complex as you want, as long as it's not concave. I think if it's concave, it breaks. This is cool and all, but I'm over here still trying to get a great combat system. I mean, I'm still trying to get there as well, because in this version of the game, the combat's kind of messed up. I showed earlier how if you like hit these balloons, it like freaks out because the combat really is like, I haven't touched it for a hot second. And I think if I like spawn an enemy, what enemies do I have? There we go. So if I spawn this enemy, I guess yeah, I guess that's okay. It's still very, like, it's not really there. Have I played a Mori? I haven't played it myself, but I watched I watched someone play through it, and then I watched the Urich Salad Bar. It's like an animated explanation or deep dive into it. I loved it. I loved that video so much. So that game seems very interesting. It seems like Earthbound inspired, and I like the art style. But it seems very dialogue and story heavy. I tend to have a hard time getting into games like that. Or I used to love like JRPGs and story heavy games. And your short, it looked great. I'm trying to do something like that. Thank you. Yeah, I love that short. Happy Moonshire Monday, everyone. Thank you. What was I working on? I was working on the this. So I have the fixture down here, wherever that was. And I think that I'm gonna say local restitution there. And then I'm gonna go down here. Yeah, it read my mind. So what this means, or 0. Do I want it to be 0? I guess by default it's 0. Is that what it says here? What's the default restitution? Returns the restitution. Where is... What's the default? Why would it not tell me what the default value is? That's annoying. But I should now just be able to pass in restitution args, and then it will pass that value into the fixture of the collider. So how can I do this cleanly? If I go over to the balloon. I think actually I can just put it right here. No, I'm gonna put it here. I'll put it here. I'll say restitution. And I'm gonna make it 1, so that's very bouncy. Now, if this works, I will be shocked. I will be shocked if this works. But if it does, I'll do a little happy dance. Oh, and we got some good music for this one. So let's see. So the goal is that when I have this balloon here and I bounce it against a tree... Oh, it didn't work. It didn't work. So there's a few things I want to check. Maybe the default value is 0. It probably is 0. So a few things. Let's see how these args are passed into... Yeah, these actually... This is wrong. This is wrong. There's one more step that I need. Because there's somewhere where it creates the collider and collider like this. Where would this be? It would be in Vessel. I'm gonna show you guys a little visual aid to help you understand what's happening here. Because in the upcoming video that I have been teasing, because I started working on it. It is coming, I promise. But I made a little visual aid to help understand the code structure that I transitioned over to. So I'm gonna open it up and show you guys. It's just taking a while. does Lua have OOP logic? Not natively, but you can code things in an object-oriented way, and that's exactly what I'm showing here, is that the whole game now, this is the structure of the new code base, is there is object-oriented design put in place for all of this stuff. So in the earlier version of like the Steam demo, there was only these two, or there was only like there was just all these different classes, and they weren't connected in any way. The player was entirely different from the enemies and entirely different from the decor. But now I changed it so there's this shared vessel. This vessel is apparent to everything. So anything that has physicality in the world, like the balloons or the boxes, the plants, the enemies, the player, all of those things have a vessel, which is the collider itself, you know. You can make metatables to do OOP logic. Yeah, totally. It's funny because that's a really powerful tool, but I haven't dug into that quite as often as I probably should. Am I gonna watch the Super Mario Galaxy movie? Yes, I'm actually planning to go this week or whenever it comes out. Probably as soon as it comes out, or within the next week or two. How long of a refactor was that? I mean, since the last like Steam update, to be honest, I basically started the whole code base over in order to accomplish this. Oh, and the reason effect is over here is like I haven't decided if effects are ever going to have vessels. I think some of them will, but that's kind of like an exceptional case. So in general, the whole idea is that vessel is the thing here. So we were talking about restitution and adding bounciness to the balloons. Well, the goal actually isn't to add bounciness to the balloons. The goal is to add bounciness to the vessel, and therefore everything has bounciness as a possibility. You can also do interface multiple inheritance. Oh, yeah, totally. Also, Rick Carlson, I noticed that your icon is gold. Thank you so much for being a supporter and being a member of the channel. So with this vessel logic, I can go over and, let's see, so somewhere in this file, it creates the vessel. Vessel args, here we go. Oh, what? No. I already have a bounciness. I already implemented bounciness? There's no way. That's not right. What does bounciness mean? There's no way. Because I definitely didn't do this. Okay, so the collider, there's actually a bounciness thing. Collider flags? No, this isn't implemented. This is wrong. Collider.bounciness? That's nothing. Sync elevation to collider. Does bounciness mean something different? I'm sorry for the delay. I'm bounciness. Where did I do this? Jump height, bounciness. Oh, you know what bounciness is? Oh, that's horrible. Junior Steph, thank you so much for supporting. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate that. What I think happened. Okay, here's what this is. I remember now. And this is the problem with naming variables. When I see the word bounciness, to me, that kind of means restitution, like the way it bounces off of a collision. But that's not what bounciness means here. Bounciness is how much it does a spring jump. I'm so dumb for naming it that. That's way too broad. So when you jump this high, right? But you can also like do a bounce off the ground to get an extra height. So look how normally you jump this high to where the mouse is, but you can like do a spring jump and get a little bit of extra height. And I think if I go over to the hero and change that bounciness, Rick Carlson, Old School Geek switched from PC to iPhone for the stream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for the donation, Old School Geek. I really appreciate the support. You've been here for a long time, and that means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I think that bounciness is defined somewhere. Where would this be defined? I think I can define this here and say bounciness equals like 2. What's gonna happen with this? Probably nothing, honestly. No, it didn't do anything. I think I need to look more into this rather than just like put stuff. into code and see if it changes anything. Let's go over to mob move. I think that this is where the bounce... No, I was wrong. Oh, it's in mob jump. Mob jump. Bounciness. Nope, I was wrong. It's still not in here. Oh! Bounciness is how bouncy the object is when you jump off of it. That makes sense. Okay, now I remember now. So this makes sense. Bounciness is how much bounce you get when you jump off of an object. When I jump on this thing, I bounce off of it. But not everything is gonna make you bounce. Like this has no bounciness at all. You just like slide off the rock, you don't jump off. So that's what bounciness is. And if this barrel had like really high bounciness, I think that we can try that. It's gonna make me like fling me up in the air. Bounciness. Barrel. Where does it set the bounciness? It's just passed in. Here, let's change the default to like 5 and see what happens. Yeah! Whoa, I love that. That's so cool. Okay, that's all. Oh, that made the rock bouncy too when I did that. And whoa! There! Oh, that's so awesome. I can't wait to put some like actual objects in the game that make you bounce that high. That's just a trampoline, it totally is. Whee! Why don't you do hot reloading? Oh, I really should. I probably could implement something that makes reloading a bit easier. You know what? In fact, that's such a good idea. I'm gonna write it down. There's a few things I need to fix. There is hot reloading. I like that idea. And then also there is the chat display above my head. I noticed that the music scroll breaks. Did you see it? I think it just did it. Didn't it do it just now? Or am I seeing things? But I swear when the song is scrolling, sometimes it like blips and teleports. And I don't know why it's doing that because it wasn't always doing that. It just started doing that recently. Let me watch it one more time to see if it's still doing it. It doesn't look like it. I mean, I'm happy when it works, but at the same time, I'm trying to figure out where this bug is. It still is doing fine. Yeah, I don't think there's any issues. We're just gonna leave it as is. So this bounciness can stay. I think that it's kind of frustrating that I have bounciness and restitution because I don't think that those are clear. Like, I almost think that bounciness should be a synonym for restitution. Is there a place that you can go to get licensing so you don't get copyrighted? Yeah, that's a good question. On YouTube, YouTube has a whole bunch of, like, it has a whole system for getting music into your videos and stuff where it won't get copyrighted. But then beyond that, it's just a matter of making sure that you buy music with the proper licenses, or if you make your own music. I'm learning about how it needs to be published in a way where others can't like steal it and publish it themselves. Because one thing that I'm worried about is when I publish my game and my game has music, I would hate it if I published the game and then someone took the music, like they just like recorded the music, posted it to YouTube, and then they claimed it as their own music. And then they started striking anybody that used that music or anybody that was like playing the game because it has the music playing. That would be like a nightmare scenario where people are playing my game and then their videos get copyright struck by someone who's not me. That would be horrible. And that's one thing that I'm really worried about. How long have you been working on this game? The first time I heard about you, you were developing this game. I know, I've been doing it for a long time. Like before COVID, I think. So it's been quite a while. Propped at restitution. So restitution is the bounciness, and this is what I was saying, is that having a bounciness and restitution factor, that is... I don't know if we should do that. I don't know if we should do that, because I just find that confusing. Also, are they distinct? Because if the restitution... No, they are different. They are different. Restitution is different from bounciness. But I think at some point I want to rename bounciness to something different, like jumpiness or springboard. I don't know. Bounciness is just not clear enough, is what I'm getting at. I'm going to leave this as restitution. I think that's as clear as it gets. So we got the prop restitution. When the prop is created, prop to restitution. Does it pass all the args? How we doing? We're doing good. Just working on some code changes and some fixes. Right now, the thing that we're working on, just to catch people up, is we're trying to make it so that the balloons in the game, if I spawn a balloon, we want to make it so that they bounce. Because right now, when I hit into a wall, it just stops. And I think that the trick to fixing that is to set the collider's restitution, or the collider's fixture's restitution. We set the balloons, vessels, colliders, fixtures restitution. we set the props, vessels, colliders, fixtures restitution value, and that's gonna fix the problem, obviously. But the problem is now I have to get this value here from stats, balloon, stats, and I added restitution 1. Actually, I'm gonna make it, well, we're gonna say restitution 1, that's fine. And then we need somewhere in this file, it takes all those stats. Here. Oh, okay, yeah. Apply properties, there we go, that makes sense. So when the collider is created, it applies all of those stats. This is kind of ugly, but I guess it's fine. How many lines of code in total do you have? I don't actually have any idea. Like, just this file, this one file alone is 1,100, and I have 100 files, and they're all kind of big. Not all of them are thousands. Like most of them are like 400 though. Yeah, getting up to 1,000 lines is a time when it's time to refactor. This is too much stuff in one file. Like this is a very, very big file. Okay, so the restitution does get set because it's set in the stats, but then we need to pass this restitution to the collider. New collider? Or physics? Oh, here it is. Template. Oh, I forgot I made that. Template. So you pass in an entity and then it applies all these things. It's really cool. I think I can put it in here. I can say restitution equals entity.rest. Yeah, I think that's gonna pass it in now. Let's just see if that fixes it. I'll give it like a 50-50 chance that this does it. It worked! Where did it go? What happened? Oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, it did work. It's just like kind of weird. Whoa! That's better than I actually expected it to be. Oh my gosh. Oh, and they bounce off of each other. Oh my gosh, dude. Whoever suggested doing that, amazing idea. Thank you. I love that. That really turned out amazing. That's so cool. Wow, I love that. I'm very, very happy about that. When it's up against a wall like this, I think it gets a little bit buggy. It's okay. Wow. Whee. MOONSHIRE indeed. That looks good. Oh, it totally looks good. So I did notice, though, in like an earlier stream, that when I have too many of these balloons on screen, it starts to make the game lag, which is definitely a problem. I must have made a mistake when implementing this somewhere, where it's just doing too much performance cost. MOONSHIRE arc starts, totally. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. So now it's really easy to give anything restitution. But what else would, what kind of other objects would need restitution? Like, what other props do I got? I could give restitution to like the mobs. Like, what if I gave like this mob, like this slime? He could be bouncy. He could be like you hit him into a wall and he bounces off. That'd be kind of funny. How many files does your project contain? I don't actually know. I would guess maybe 100 Lua files and then a few extra like configuration files. What is this playlist you're listening to? It is a bunch of my own MP3s from songs that I like from games. A lot of Nintendo music. But thankfully the music display is there above me. But like I was also saying, the music scroll breaks, and that's a problem. So let's review. You know, while I'm doing this, I might as well implement the same thing for mobs, like I was saying. Yeah, so I'm gonna do the same thing for mobs, where mobs can have restitution, since I already implemented it for the vessel. So we have bounciness here, but that's not what we want. Are you able to stream with music and not get cooked because you have all the credits on the stream? No, so that's an awesome question. It's a question I get asked a lot. So the way that music on YouTube works is that, like, if you use someone else's music, you're really not supposed to do that. And that's why there's all these, like, copyright systems in place. It makes sure that the correct people get monetized, like, that deserve it. And so lots of music, if you play it, it automatically just claims your video. And a lot of music, if you play it, like a lot of Nintendo music, if you play it, they don't claim it. But that just has to do with how Nintendo implements their policies. And it is entirely up to them. It is entirely within their right to claim any video that uses any of their music. They just currently choose not to, it seems. As long as, again, I'm speaking out of like, just out of my own experience. In my experience, they're okay with it as long as you have like unique content. It's just background music. Obviously, don't post the video, like, don't post the music raw. That's obviously really bad. I'm getting into streaming, and when I use music, that's why I'm asking. I'm with you. I love my playlist. I love having music on stream, but it is a common thing. In fact, I don't think I've ever shown this before. It is insanely common that my live streams get completely demonetized. And I'm going to show it. I don't think there's anything sensitive here. But here's my YouTube studio, and this is a list of all of my streams. And over here, there's a monetization column. So this stream that's live right now, the monetization's on and everything's good. Last week's stream, everything's good. The stream before that, look, it says ineligible. This video can't be monetized. And the reason for it, like, you can go into the details. I'm not going to show the details, but the reason for it is because there was one specific song that played at one point in the video. So it's a 2-hour-long stream, but at one point in the live stream, a song from XYZ company played, and they have a policy where they just claim any videos. So that's why this video was completely ineligible, because I was using one of those songs. I just realized it's Tuesday. It's actually Monday for May. And then you have other ones where it says sharing. And this is a similar, look at how many this happens to. Ineligible, sharing, ineligible, ineligible. It happens all the time. I constantly get claimed. So, like, I really am not doing it perfectly, because so many of my videos get claimed, and reasonably so, because I'm using someone else's music. That's how it works. That's why when I post videos on YouTube, I'm very cautious. In fact, these streams, are kind of like a canary in the coal mine, because it allows me to play this music in the background and see which ones get demonetized and which ones don't. And like you can see, a lot of the times, like look, I had 4 streams in a row where I lost revenue. Crazy. And what happens is each time it says ineligible, it would tell me which song triggered that, and then I would just remove that song from the playlist. So the next week it reduced the odds that I would get claimed. And even that's not foolproof, because some of these are claiming that the song being used is a cover that someone else made of the real song. So like this song right now, like let's say someone on YouTube made a jazz cover of it, and then YouTube misidentified what's currently playing right now as that person's jazz cover, and then it would claim my video and send my revenue over to that person who made the jazz cover. It's a very convoluted system, and right now it's very finicky, I think. In my own experience, it's very finicky because it's misidentifying songs. It's happened to me multiple times where it says that it has to share revenue with some other YouTuber that has literally no association with the song, with the music. It just flat out misidentified it. So right now we're in a very awkward phase where it's just not working very well. But also I'm learning like what the rules are myself. Could you try using music from indie games like Terraria, Stardew Valley, etc.? I highly doubt those devs would claim it since they're very down to earth and pro-consumer. I have Stardew Valley on my playlist. I have a bunch of that. And honestly, I want to be kind and patient to any developers or anybody in general that makes claims, because it's their music. Like, these developers put time and money developing that music, and if they want that music to be exclusive to their platforms, to their channels, I genuinely believe that they have every right to do that. So I don't really see it as a down-to-earth thing. I see it more as just like, what are their policies? What are the steps that went into creating that music? Because here's the other thing. If music becomes completely free for everyone to use, there's no rules, anyone can use anything, that de-incentivizes companies or de-incentivizes musicians to create music that has an impact. Because if it's all just free, everyone uses it and distributes it willy-nilly, it kind of devalues it. And that's why, like, Square Enix, for example, I don't use any Square Enix music in my streams at all anymore, because I think that they monetize their music really well, especially like the Final Fantasy music. Final Fantasy music is super popular, and they have avenues where you can purchase it and stream it through their platforms, but it's kind of hard to find their music elsewhere. And so I just don't play their music. That's just how they roll. And again, full respect to any company's policies, and I'm very thankful to anyone that is willing to let me use their music. I love it. How do I organize the folder structure? Oh, that's an awesome question too. This is how it's set up right now. I have my code folder, every single Lua file except for conf and main. Every single Lua file exists in code. So all the code's in here, and then I have these different categories. And really, I'm proud of the organization structure of these categories. I spent a lot of time making sure that each of these was descriptive and concise, where I can have a lot of files in each folder. Wi-Fi is cooked right now. Oh, that's relatable. It's not a bad thing to exercise their right to copyright their music. Just thought it may save you stress. Totally, exactly. When I release my game, my policy is anyone can use my music in their videos. Just don't like redistribute it. Don't upload it raw. But if you use it as like background music, I would love that. That would make me very, very happy. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like if you just watch YouTube videos, even fully edited ones, even videos that are not related to games or game development, a lot of them use Nintendo music in their background. Like, I hear Animal Crossing music in so many like normie videos, we'll say, you know, like front page videos, just because they're fun, recognizable songs, and Nintendo doesn't claim them. So I just think that it's just a weird quirk of the platform, I think. Do you have the music you made from Moonshire in your playlist or in your stream? No, because at the moment, the stuff that's in Moonshire, is hit and miss. I really like the boss music. All of the boss music I think is really good. I like the cloud area music, but everything else I think is kind of underbaked. Like the forest and the town and the cave, I think those are good starting points, but they really haven't gone anywhere yet. And the boss music is a bit too intense and loud to put into my playlist, and so I haven't put any Moonshire music into the playlist yet. I like the main menu music, it's so relaxing. Thank you. I actually have a new version of that that's going to go in the next version of the game. Did I write all the music? Yep. In the Steam demo, all the music is made by me. There was... In one of the very early Legend of Lua demos, I commissioned a musician to make some demo music, but that's not in the game anymore. So all the music that's in the game is made by me. What if you add survival mechanics to your game? I don't think I would do survival mechanics, but I think that I would like to add some kind of mode where it's a bit more freeform, a bit more endless or generational. So, well, not generational. Like it auto-generates a month of content. Gotta go by. Thank you for stopping in, Jellimations. How many energy drinks do I drink per day? I don't drink energy drinks, but I do drink soda. So that's, which, I don't know, arguably worse, honestly. And I get my caffeine that way. Does Moonshire have dynamic music? How easy/hard is it to implement in Lua? At the moment, it does not have that, but what you just said is exactly what I want to do. Is, in the Steam demo, I think that when you get into, like, a fight, the music stops and changes into, like, intense battle music. And I want to change that in this new version of the game, like you were suggesting. Is I want to make it so the music stays constant, and when something is dangerous, or like when enemies appear, a new layer plays on top of it, or the song switches into a slightly more scary or intense version. It reminds me of like the Fire Emblem series, the recent games. Those are awesome, where when you're in the like the aerial view, the music is kind of like calm and cool. It's like environmental. And then when you actually get into a fight, it zooms in on the fight and the music gets really intense, but it doesn't stop the song. It's the same song. It's just the instrumentation gets more intense and the music gets really crazy and loud, and it's like a really hype moment when the fight goes on. And that's exactly what I want to do for my game. I think that'd be really, really fun. But like you said, that's a challenging thing to do, because now it's not just playing one song at a time. You're playing multiple songs at a time, and they have to like sync up with each other in terms of timing. How I think that I would implement that is I would have two songs playing at once all the time. Is that always it would be playing both songs, and then it would just like fade out and fade in, whichever, like how dangerous it is, you know. I tried Moonshire on Steam on Mac, and a bug in the first cave blocked me. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I know that the Steam demo still has some bugs in it. But I'm glad that it worked on Mac. I know that Mac still has some issues, but I think it's mainly on the Intel Macs. Although, actually, I think I do remember that the Steam demo has problems with the shaders, where like the light sources on Mac gets really messed up. And the reason for that, I can actually show the fix. So I think what you're experiencing on Mac is the high DPI monitor. And I even wrote, turning this off for now until I can test on Retina display. Which I can do. I have a Mac I can test it on. But Macs have this concept of high DPI, where honestly, I don't even understand the details behind high DPI. I'm trying to find. Sorry. The high DPI is like Mac monitors are very high resolution, and the resolution allows it to become like really crisp, but it uses some like special processing, and in the original version of the game it wasn't accounting for that, and so I just turned it off. There's also more subtle changes in some games, like the drums kicking in when you're walking in Pokemon Black and White, or the extra percussions in Mario World when you ride Yoshi. Oh, I love that! I love the Yoshi percussion. That's so subtle and so good, but it adds so much to it. The drums kicking in while you're walking in Black and White, that's good. In Black and White 2, or actually I think it was in Black and White 1 as well, they have the towns where there's the music is very understated, and then when you explore the town, you find different characters like playing instruments, and then you talk to them and they start adding their instrument to the song, and then by the time you're done talking to everyone in the town, there's like a bunch of extra instruments, like the piano's going, and there's a harp, and then there's the drums. So cool. It's so cool. It's in both games. Yeah, I love that feature. Any tips on how not to lose motivation? Yeah, the trick is don't rely on motivation, because motivation is fleeting. I get demotivated a lot, but the trick is always be disciplined. You just say to yourself, I'm going to work on my game every single day. No exceptions. And so that's what I do. I don't even think about it. I just do something for my game every day. There's no 0 days. Every day I'm doing something. And some days are more than others. Some days I get a ton done, and then some days I just get 1 commit done. But I really, really try to do my best to make sure that on like my GitHub profile, I'm gonna pull it up again. I really like having as few 0 days as possible. And like I have this whole week here where I didn't get anything done. I don't remember what I was doing. I was probably like on a trip or something. But maybe I was working on something else. But I really, really, really want to keep as many green squares as possible. A green square means that I did something. Means that I posted code. And the lighter it is, that's more commits. So like this day I did on February 26th, I did 46 commits. Created 45 commits? That was a busy day. I love that. But anyway, yeah, so I really love the and this is an example of discipline. I was not motivated every day. I definitely was not, but I was disciplined every day. Oh, most of them. Obviously, some of these days I was not. In late January, weren't you setting up the new computer? Yeah, I think I was. There was a few things that I was doing, just like taking breaks. Because also I think that when I was experimenting with Chat at first, I wasn't committing things. So these green squares only represent code that I actually published to GitHub, even if it's to a private repo. But if it's just on my own computer, or if like I was doing artwork, for example, or something that doesn't get committed to a repo, it's not going to show up here. So it's possible that any of these days, maybe I was still working on something else. What is this website/app? This is GitHub. GitHub is a website for mainly for just managing your code projects. It's really helpful for having it backed up online. It's helpful for distributing your code to other people. I played the demo, it's great. Thank you, Minzo. Thank you. Will I have school to attend? Oh, thank you for stopping in. And Piglin, thank you. MOONSHIRE, oh yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy that the balloons are working. Looks like most of your viewers aren't developers. I think that's pretty normal. Also, you don't have to be a developer to enjoy someone's content. It's also fine to say, like, maybe one day I'd like to be a developer, or I'm just seeing what the process is like. I think even if you're not a developer, most people like games, and I think that my content can still appeal to people who like games. Like, even if you don't really, you know, excuse me, I'm coughing, make your own games. I still think that you can get value out of my content. I really like the Udemy course for Lua. Thank you. Thank you, Buffalo Jake. Can you run your game, please? Excuse me. I'm sorry that my throat's stuffy. There we go. I'm a dev, but my friends aren't. They still watch devlogs because it's fun to watch. Yeah, totally. Because, like, if you play games, or, I like movies, for example. I don't make movies. I don't even really like watching movies that much. But when I watch a behind the scenes, like, how it's made, director's cut, or some kind of, like, CGI tricks, or movie magic practical effects, that stuff makes me so excited. I get so... I love that stuff. Even though I don't really care about movies, I love seeing the process. And I think that other people can probably relate with the games, is that even if they don't make games themselves, I think that if they play games, they can probably appreciate what the process is like. I don't know anything about coding, but playing enough games gives you knowledge about how stuff might work in the background, even if you didn't study anything on the subject. Yeah, Wolf, you do a lot of, like, deep dive testing, and you do speed running, so you have a lot of experience with, like, the mechanics under the hood. Even if you're not coding, you interact with the software on a deep level, more than, like, a typical person does, and so you have a lot of experience in that sense. I think people love seeing the passion by the creators, too. I do, too. I think that when you listen to someone talk about something, and they're just, like, excited to talk, I like that. When I'm like going about my day-to-day or doing chores, I don't normally watch YouTube, but I like having YouTube playing in the background and just hearing people talk. Something about it's nice. To take a little bit look at my current project and structure and give feedback. If you put like, sure, you can send me the send me the sorry for stuttering. Send me the details on Discord if you want. So I called this stream a pixel art stream. Let's go ahead and do some of that. What I wanted to work on, I'm not going to work on the eyes right now. I think that would take some time for me to implement that. What I want to work on are the debris particles. I showed a second ago how when you hit like this barrel, it spawns all this debris. Oh, and it's kind of like, it's kind of awkward in a few spots. I think I have some work to do there. Oh, I also wanted to, yeah, before I do that, the slime looks like a pet following you. Yeah, that's kind of the goal, is that I think there's going to be pets in the game. Before I forget, I want to add that restitution to mobs and see how that works. So in prop, all I did was I added restitution to a specific thing. So if I go to slime, we'll go to slime, and we're going to say slime dot. I don't think I want to put it in here. I'll do not restitution. And I'm going to change this to 1 so it's really obvious. I'm probably going to change it back. Do I ping you on Discord? Yeah, you can DM me. But we have to be you have to be in my server in order for us to communicate. I watch a lot of devlogs. They really empower me to continue working on my game projects. Awesome, yeah. I feel like it's motivational for me too. Didn't you also do a monogame course? Yes, I have a monogame course on Udemy. I think that course is really good too. I think it's good content. And currently I have Easter holiday, so I'm free from school this week. Awesome. Yeah, I forgot about that. I think that we have tomorrow off in the US as well. Or sorry, today off. I forgot that today is Monday. I was still in yesterday mode. So if we have this slime.restitution, I think that now I need to go over into mob, and then wherever it creates the collider config. Vessel.collider. Oh, vessel args. Ah, here we go. Vessel args, and then I need to put in restitution. There we go. And so now restitution is going to be passed into the vessel. And I think that's all I need to do. Now the hard part is how am I going to test this? Because what this means is that if restitution is high, that means that when I hit an enemy into a wall, it'll like bounce off of it. So if I take the axe, I don't think it's gonna have enough knockback. Yeah, it doesn't have knockback right now. Something's wrong with this. Let's see. But before I do any more, I'm gonna try. I'm thinking. Sorry that I'm thinking very hard about how I want to fix this knockback thing. Because you saw that when I hit the slime, it just kind of stayed put. It didn't get knocked back at all. And I think that there's a problem somewhere with like the hitbox interaction. Right here, actually, I opened it up at the right spot. Knockback force. I almost worry that it's just like not enough. What if I change it to this and change it to like times 1,000? If that fixes anything. I actually think that did kind of help. Let me check that again. Oh, it didn't. Nope, it didn't do anything. No, we don't want that. Mob collider set velocity. Oh. Oh no, that's the mob doing it. Hitbox hit. Hit targets. Collider X, impactor, vector. Sorry that I'm not talking. I'm trying to see if I can find where this collider hit. Let's see what happens. Why would that? I'm just not sure why it's not knocking back the enemy as much. Because there's a hit function here. Hit parent, okay, and then mob hit. I think there's a mob hit file, or no, mob hurt. Mob hurt. And then I have a function mob hit. Impactor. Add oh. That's not right. That's gonna... I think this is actually gonna take a bit of... How do I do this? Is that your table so wobbly? Oh, this? Oh, it's a it's an ironing board. I don't know if I ever showed that, but yeah, I have an ironing board that sits on my lap, and that's how I work on my computer. Apply knockback as momentum. See, let's try this. Instead of applying it as momentum, I'm going to set it as... I'm going to do the same thing, but set as velocity. And see if that changes anything. Because momentum... It should be momentum, but for some reason it's not doing anything right now. Momentum is a custom concept that I invented through the physics wrapper. And... set velocity. And let me double check that that's the right function name. Function set velocity. Yes, set velocity. So... if I go back over to this, it's going to just set the velocity instead of setting the momentum. Those are unique things, as dumb as that sounds, but they are. No, still no difference. Still no difference. I think... This is tough. This is tough. I wonder if this is screwing it up. It's still not working. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look a little bit more into this because I am certain that the problem is this momentum that gets set. For some reason, it's not like taking full effect. And I even increased the vector so that it was very, very long, and it still didn't seem to have any impact. I'm just still hearing music and putting it in my playlist while doing my schoolwork. Also, I mean, I love the music choices here. It's mostly just like Nintendo music and all games that I really like. I'm gonna go ahead and just like not worry about that right now. I'll keep this added in because it is just a one-line change. That is all that's needed. As long as the mob has restitution, restitution gets passed in there into the vessel args. And then if I go over to slime, here, well, what if I change this to like 50? Does that change anything? Do I cap the frame rate at 60? No. You can get whatever frame rate you want. It's still not working. Bummer. Bummer, bummer, bummer. I think that I'm just going to... I'll leave this here. No, I keep going back and forth. First of all, I don't even know if I want the enemies to have restitution. Vessel gets restitution. Where's the vessel? Restitution. Collider. Oh! I found it. I found it. Oh, wait, no, not this. Store collider config for later recreation. Pixel art stream, I know. I'll get to it, I promise. Call args. Okay, where does this come from? Why? Where's the restitution at? I thought that I fixed this. Doesn't restitution need to be passed in with the call args? How did I get this working for the other thing? Oh, that's why. I figured it out. Because props use this template, but mobs do not use a template. So I need to add this. That's dumb. That's dumb. Bad. If args.restitution. And actually, yeah, bounciness needs to go here as well. Args.bounciness. Will you allow players to use the level editor? Yeah. That's the whole goal, is that I want the level editor to be useful for me, and then that makes it useful for other people as well. See your Git history, perhaps? You can go on my GitHub and see all my public commits. Isn't it hard to use a dynamic language like Lua for a game like this? Maybe, but it makes a lot of sense to me. I would really love to get into Nintendo games, but the systems are so expensive, on top of all that I would need to buy the expensive, or buy the games themselves. Yeah, I personally would not recommend playing the current gen because it's very, very pricey. But there are ways to play like old school Nintendo games or classics, or even stuff from the past couple generations. There's a lot of very, very good ones, and I love Nintendo games, but I'm with you that right now it's very expensive. It's a very expensive ecosystem to be in. Also, question: how do I make it so I can only trigger dev tools while I'm playing? In my case, I have my dev tools, like I have my debug command, and it's just with a hidden keybind. You say Control-Alt-D, and it opens up the debug menu. And by the way, this works in the Steam demo, I think, where if you open up the Steam demo that's currently available right now, you can press Control-Alt-D, and then it'll open up the debug menu, and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Let's actually do that. That sounds kind of fun. I'm gonna leave this. I think that this is working, but I don't have a way to test it right now. The restitution for enemies. So let me clean this up, and then we're going to play an old version and then play around with it. So restitution gets passed there, gets set through that, and then with this template. I don't like this template thing. I'm gonna change this at some point. Bounciness. Because what this is doing is it's passing a bunch of extra values into the collider part, but it's doing it in two different places, so it's a bit of a disconnect, so I don't like that. It's passing it to the vessel, and mob.restitution happens when... Yeah, so it's applied in the slime.restitution, and then this restitution gets applied through, like, set properties, Yeah, it just applies all the properties to the mob arg, so then those gets passed in, so that's good. Then over here, the slime gets set, and we tested that balloon restitution is working. JJK, hi, welcome in. Do I use just Lua or other stuff too? In this game, all the coding is done with Lua, but for data, I use JSON for the data files, so things like the maps, if I open up like this map, this is what the maps look like. They are just a big JSON file with a bunch of data. Is JSON a programming language? No. It's just a markup language. It's just a way to organize text data. Lua is more of a coding language. The distinction is not that big of a deal. Like if you called it coding, if you called HTML coding, I don't think anyone would be that mad. But yeah, by definition, JSON is more of a markup and HTML is more of a markup. It's from Tiled. No, actually, so this is all custom. So in the Steam demo, and for a long time, I was using Tiled because Tiled is very, very helpful for making games with Love2D because it's a built-in, or sorry, it's a fully fleshed out level editor. I'm gonna go ahead and open up too. It works very, very well. You just like you import a bunch of tile sets down here, and you pick and choose a tile, and then you just like draw it in. So it really is just like you're drawing in a bunch of tiles. The problem is the integration with the engine itself is very minimal. So you can see all the tiles, but you can't see any of the objects. All the walls are just like these gray boxes. You can't see the plants. You can't see the characters. A lot of the stuff that comes from the engine isn't here, and that's why I kind of wanted to restart the level design process to make it easier to work with. It's messy, yeah. And this is perfectly, like, I was perfectly fine taking this to the final product with this version, but I decided to take it in a different direction, where now all of the level design happens in the engine itself. If I go ahead and show that. So I can take out like a 1, and I can go over into the terrain or the elevation view. So this shows you like the borders of the screen, anything like the walls. So if I go back to the regular view, you can see the risen platform. I can go back into that view, and let's draw some more. Let's make this wider. And there we go. You can like just like draw maps and draw levels this way. Make a taller one right here. There we go. So that's how level design happens for me, and when it's available for others, that's how it's going to look too. Do I have a no clip in dev mode? I thought I implemented something like that. Let me see. I think I have that in the Steam demo, but I don't have that in this version. Which I'm going to show that real quick. I'm going to show that, and then we're going to do a little bit of pixel art so that I don't have to change the title of the stream. Go ahead and play. Look, I have 500 hours. Did I try having the numbers and X be transparent over the actual textures? I feel like having the feedback of what you placing with the actual assets would be nice instead of switching to see it. Yeah, I'm with you. You're talking about how you have to actually switch modes to see like how the platforms look in real, like in the real engine, and I'm with you. It'd be nice to have some sort of preview. Anyway, this is the Steam demo that's available right now on Steam. You can play through it. I think it's pretty good, but it is old. And I think, yeah, you can press Control-Alt-D, and it opens up this menu. Collisions. So that will show collisions. Invincible hide player. Oh yeah, you can hide the player. That's cool. Hide HUD. I keep that on. You can warp. Just warp to. Can I just like fight the lightning boss? Dude, I have not fought the lightning boss for so long. Let's give myself a bunch of stuff and fight the lightning boss. And let's give myself the ruby. And that's good enough. Let's go warp to lightning boss. Oh, this is awesome. Dude, literally I have not seen this for a year. It can be the hardest boss in the game. I think right now it is. Why though? Just because this is an old version of the game. I should have brought a weapon. Why didn't I bring a weapon? Whoa! This is hard. Oh my gosh. You can hit her out of that if you're fast. Also, her animations are really good. This music is not very fitting, though. Boss was cool. Thank you. Yeah, I love this boss. Whoa! Oh, I had, like, iframes. This is, like, the least fitting music on the planet. Should I use animate and make something on my own? I use animate, and I think it's really good. Ooh, that was really close. Oh, she's getting red. Oh! Go away, co-pilot! No! What can I help you? Just go away! So I pressed Control C. No, I pressed Windows C by mistake. I didn't mean to open this. What are you doing? Microsoft. Driving me nuts. Well, that looks bad. Also, that was not good. Okay, first, I'm going to pause the music because I want to hear the actual music from that boss. It's really good. I haven't heard it for a while. Okay. Is that loud enough? Yeah, that's good. That's good. And then I'm gonna give myself a weapon so I don't die this time. I'm gonna use... I'll use... It's 10 p.m. in India, I need to sleep or I'll be slapped. I hope you don't get slapped. I'll use Glass Axe. I haven't used this in a long time. Are there two cursors? I don't know why that is. And it's like both the custom cursor. I don't know why there's two cursors. You are right that there are two. I genuinely do not know why. Warp back up here. Hopefully this goes more smoothly. And also I hope I don't accidentally open up Copilot. Oh, dang it. Okay, you can hit her out of this if you're fast. I am not. I'm too slow. Oh, I got her. Okay. That's not easy, though. No, I do not see the two cursors. I see the two cursors in OBS, but I don't see it anywhere else. Oh. This is the super boss of the demo. This actually isn't even the final boss. This is just one of the bosses. The demo has, like, no sense of direction. It's just a bunch of bosses. Okay, I am wrecking her. Oh, I faced the wrong way. So close. There we go. Nice. That is awesome. That was really, really fun. Oh, I forgot about this weapon. Oh my gosh, this is in the game? Has this been the Steam demo the whole time? I remember making this, but like, this is probably the most underbaked weapon I've made. Just a leaf. But the whole idea is that after you beat that boss, you get this ability where you can shock things with lightning. That was awesome. That was fun. I'm not gonna save. Been in the game since the Sky area was released. Oh, yeah. Man, that's so long ago. Do I draw all my pixel art? I draw a lot of it, but there is some that I commission. And like that boss there was made by Tris Pixels. I really like those sound effects. Thank you. I put a lot of work into the sound effects. A lot of them come from paid asset packs, and then I edit them myself. So we can't actually get over to where I need to go. Cloud main. Here we go. This is gonna be all screwed up because I did things out of order, so I'm not actually gonna do that. But that was fun. I'm glad I was able to do that. Look, I have 550 hours playing Moonshire. Certainly, that's the best game on the planet. Okay. How do you deal with the different screen resolutions and scaling pixel art properly? That is a really tough thing. But the way that works is if I go over into load. How many money have I paid on commissions? Let me try and estimate that. That is in the game itself. Probably $2,000, and that's not in the game. That like either got cut, or it's like promo material, or I'm like unsure if I'm gonna use it. I have a lot of stuff that's not used. Probably another like 8,000. I spent a lot of money over and keep in mind I've been working on this for 5 or 6 years. So over the course of that whole time, I probably spent commissioning people probably around $10,000. I wonder what the red leaf weapon does when it works without glitches. Oh, yeah. I think... Oh, where can I show that? Yeah, I can't show that. What you're talking about is that in the Steam demo, if you get the leaf weapon, like the yellow one, it just causes you to soft lock. That's pretty messed up. Okay, before the end of stream, we're going to work on some pixel art. And what I want to do is make some new debris. So I have different debris category. Like when you break a pot, it creates ceramic debris, like chips. And when you break wood, it creates a bunch of pieces of wood. So now I'm going to make another category called metal. It used to be so loud. Oh, it used to be crazy loud. I forgot about that. Multiplayer's plan on release. Yeah, multiplayer's plan on release, especially now that I can do something like this. I can like say mob and then type. I can make a new hero and check it out. Oh, wait, why isn't he doing anything? That one's confused. Let me make another one. Oh, I forgot to make him follow. Yeah, that's what I need to do. See, now I have a little friend. I have a little player too. Look at him go. And I think he's smart enough. Yeah, he's able to jump up here. Okay, he's not that smart. He's kind of stuck. I forgot about that. There's a bug where if you try to jump up from this side, they don't make it. But if you jump up from the bottom, they do. Can he make it up onto the taller platform? I don't think he can. I think he's gonna get stuck. Yeah, he got confused. He's not able to make it. How much time do I give to actual development time in a full day? It varies from day to day, because there are some days where I work all day, and then there's some days where I barely really get anything done because I get sidetracked by other stuff. So I don't really have a set schedule, but it's just as long as I'm doing some work every day, and yeah, some days are more than others. When's the new demo update dropping? I hope as soon as possible. What I want is to get this version out so people can like test it and try it, because the Steam demo has lots of testing involved. This one has none. It's just me. So I really do want to get it out as soon as I can. Even if it's not like fully fleshed out and there's lots of missing stuff, even if it's a downgrade from the current Steam demo. I gotta study for my exams. Wish you a great stream. Thank you. Good luck with your exams. So I want to work on is some more debris. I have this like wood debris, and now I want to make some metal debris. Specifically for, I have a prop that I want to try this with. Sprites, props. So these are all the props in the game, and I have this telescope. So I want to be able to break the telescope, and I want it to like shatter into like metal pieces. So I want to make a few, like, what's the jump key? I use space right now, but all of the controls are customizable. Am I using Windows? Yes. So I might actually take these wood shapes and put them into metal, and then we're just gonna adjust some of them. I'll get rid of stake and splinter and plank and log, but we're gonna do the others. And I'm gonna use the same coloration from this as well. And I think also, even though I'm using this coloration for metal, I'll probably have different palette swaps for this. This is a very good shape, I like this. What's your opinion on Linux? I love Linux. I went through a lot of work to get Linux installed on this computer that I'm using right now, but the software support is kind of lacking. And that was my main problem, is that too many programs that I needed to use weren't available. And also, I had some rendering issues with OBS through my stream where it just wasn't rendering quite right. It's kind of weird. Do you use an engine or a framework? I use a framework called Love2D. What do you think about Raylib, the framework I'm using? I'm actually not super familiar with it, but I heard about it. It's probably good. My opinion on all frameworks or all engines is that if there are games that are made with them that are good, then you should use it. There's so many good games out there, and like Love2D. Now we have Balatro. Balatro is made with Love2D, so that goes a long way, I think. I'll keep that. That's fine. Yeah, that's good. Stick with Roblox because Lua has type checking. Lua doesn't have type checking. So in a lot of languages, you have something called strongly typed variables. I think is what you call them. In Lua, I have all these variables here, all these properties. You see, like, this one's a string, this one's a Boolean, this one's a number. You have all these different data types. In something like C++ or Java, you would need to define what is the data type of this variable here, state. You would say something like string state, and you specify this is a string, and so this variable here is structurally created only to hold strings. And it would be the same with this. You'd say bool new, and then num slot, or whatever the syntax is. Lua does not have that. Lua has, I don't know if you call them weakly typed variables. They're just variables that can hold any data. So this state property, the state variable, right now it starts as the variable, it starts containing a string called active that says active, but you can change this at any point to contain a number. You can change it to say state equals 42. And that is a dynamically typed, thank you. That makes more sense. And changing the type mid-program is a feature of the language. That being said, I almost never do that. When I use a variable in Lua, 99.9% of the time it just stays as whatever I created it as, or it stays at the same type. If it's a string, pretty much 100% of the time it's always going to be a string. But when I think I can actually show this. I was showing physics and then vertices. Here I have a better example. Type args. So I do this a lot too, where a lot of my functions have a args parameter. I write a lot of functions, and args is one that I tend to put in there a lot. And args is meant to be a flexible value. This is where I actually utilize the dynamic typing of Lua variables. Normally, in a normal regular programming language that's strongly typed, args would have to be defined as some like table args. And that way, the coder always knows args is going to be a table 100% of the time. But we don't do that. Instead, I have some if statements. And I'm directly checking the type of args. And the reason why I do this is because now, this mobs get function can be used for lots of different contexts. And the context is decided by what you pass in. If you pass in a number, it gets the mob at that index. So like if you pass it a number 3, it's going to get into the mobs table and return index 3 of the mobs. If you pass in a string, it's going to get the mob with that ID for that string ID. And if you pass a table, it does like a whole bunch of extra stuff for searching and stuff. So that's the reason why I like, or I think this is probably the only scenario where I use dynamic typing in a way that's like beneficial to the program. Is that not a form of metatables? Just learning this stuff now. It's different than metatables, but no, this is different than metatables. This is just a table. It's actually not even. It doesn't have anything to do with metatables. This is a variable, args, like any other variable, like args equals 1. But here I'm checking to see what type it is. Is it a table? And this isn't a meta table, it's just a regular table. So these if statements are literally just checking to see what is the data type of our args parameter. And based on that, it decides like what to do. I'm a bit stuck in AI loophole. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. But if you're saying you use AI to help, that makes sense. This Pokemon music made one tear drop from my eye. Oh my gosh, I love this song. This is a nostalgic one. So I have my 3 pieces. I have chip, piece, and strip. And I think if I go over to prop, let's check it out. Let's find the telescope. Where is the debris set? Debris. Oh. There's a few things, actually. First, I need to give it some health, I think. No, that's not right. Oh, I do. Health 2. So I'm gonna give telescope health 1. And that way I can kill it. I can destroy it. Health equals 1. And then... where does it decide the debris? I think you could just say... group dot... telescope, I guess. We'll try that. Group dot chip. This is confusing. I think I kind of need to go back through and figure out what this debris system is set up as, because I can't actually quite remember what this is. I have a debris file, probably debris. I probably have all the different groups defined here as well. Oh, here's the stats. This is what I was looking for. So I need to make a new group. We're gonna call this metal. And I'll define the different flavors. This is actually cool. what are the three again? I can't remember. They were chip, piece, and strip. Chip, piece, and strip. What is the shadow ID? Yeah, so every object in the game can have a shadow, including these little pieces of debris. And the shadow comes from this shadows folder, and we have all these different blobs. So like box, M, or that's not a good example. I'd say that capsule's a better example. So you have all these different just blob shapes, and all of these are just different shadows. And you see they're all white. When they are actually in the game, they get recolored to be shadow and like semi-transparent. So the ID is just specifying where, like which blob to use. I challenge you to use shaders to make dynamic shadows. I don't really want to do that because in a simple game like this, I like the baked on sprite-based shadows. No, go away! I did not open this. Copilot's driving me nuts. Which Linux distro did I try? I tried Ubuntu, and then I also installed Linux Mint. So it's dual booted on the same hard drive, or the same solid state. I accidentally broke the code. Props 40, expected near width. What did I screw up? Did I forget a comma somewhere? Mint is the goat. Mint was my favorite. I like the pixel perfect shadows from Minecraft Vibrant visuals. Yeah, I like those too. The thing about baked on shadows is that they're very clear with the positioning and stuff. I find these streams extremely informative. Thank you, appreciate that. It says near width. I forgot something. What I screw up? It's like hiding in plain sight. It says near width. What does that mean? Oh, look at this. I think that's it. No, that doesn't make sense. That can't be it. Oh, it's in props. I'm dumb. I'm looking at the wrong file. That's why. Yeah, I forgot to put a comma here. Silly me. That was dumb. My bad. Have you ever made 3D games? No, I actually haven't. Not meaningfully. When I was in college, I downloaded and tried out Unity and Unreal, but it didn't really get too far. I thought Love 2D crashes if there's a glitch. It does. It does. So, like, right just now, it crashes the game like this. This is what it looks like. Whenever you have some kind of thing that makes the code not work, it pulls up a window like this, and it tells you, code props debris.lua 19, and it says curly brace expected near width. So then I just go into the file on line 19, and it says, there you go, right there. Okay, so now I need to be able to spawn this telescope into the game. Yeah, and I'm also going to do... Oh, wait, I already did that. I put this on the wrong line. I'm dumb. Does anyone else flash back to COVID when they hear this song? I thought the Love 2D window also crashes. I mean, not exactly. It crashes in that way. If the actual Love app crashes, something went horribly wrong. Yeah, I feel like it has done that before, hasn't it? On stream, where something crashed so hard that it didn't even show the blue screen. It might. It very well could. So this group, telescope, now I need to go over here. I have all the different groups, so I can say telescope equals... Yeah, exactly. It added a bunch of extra crap, but I just want these three, and then we'll say metal dot strip. Okay, and then I need to be able to spawn a telescope. I'll do that just through a debug input. I'll do it with J. On my HDR monitor, I ended up needing to reboot the PC to fix it. Interesting. On your monitor, I was talking earlier about the high DPI code, how on Macs have high DPI monitors, and it causes the calculations for shaders to be a little bit messed up unless you account for it, so that's why I had to turn it off. It kind of reminds me of what you're talking about. So back over here, we're going to create the telescope, and I'm actually going to get rid of all this extra stuff at the end. Yeah, I don't know. That message seemed fine. I don't know why I flagged it either. So, oh my gosh, why does it have a light source? I need to get rid of that. That's horrible. I must have put that on there for testing. Yeah, I did. Okay, so the goal is that I should be able to hit this and it explode. Oh, it did not. Okay, so I got some debug messages actually. It says debris, no sprite found for debris class metal flavored chip. And I think that means I just need to import the sprites. I forgot to do that. I go over into sprites.data or sprites.lua. Here we go. I just need to add metal to this list. Data.debris.metal. Like that. Whoop, not that one. Hey, it works. I can't bounce on it though. I want to be able to bounce on it. Why am I able to bounce on the barrel but not the telescope? It's probably bounciness, right? There's different classes, I think. Where's the glass? I didn't spawn any glass. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out why do I bounce off of the barrel but not the telescope? It must be the tags, I guess. That's kind of strange. Bounciness, bounce. Has tag solid. Oh. That's weird. Okay, so I think I just need to add the solid tag to it. If that's it, that's kind of weird. So does barrel and box have solid? They don't have solid. Here, I'll add all of these tags to see if that changes anything. That'll tell me if it's a problem with the tags. I think it is, but I don't know. Whoop. Jump on it. No, it's not. It's actually not a tag issue. There's something else in the code where it figures out like what happens when you jump on it. But all of the barrel definition is here. Does it have some kind of class? Maybe breakable? No. That doesn't make sense. I mean, I will add breakable to this, but I don't think that's the problem. Why can't I jump on this thing? Oh, stompable. Why did it get turned off? Stompable. Stompable. Where does it decide this? So stompable is true by default. Why would it be set I don't understand why it's set to false for this thing. Stompable, a bowl equals true. That doesn't make sense. No, that didn't fix it. Yeah, that's not it. What physics library should I use? That's a good question. Like, the built-in Love2D physics is really good. The most responsible answer is to just use that without using any external libraries, but genuinely, I think it's so obnoxious to work with by default, so I would recommend just using Windfield or Breezefield until Love 12 comes out, because that's the thing, is that when Love 12 comes out, they keep telling me that Windfield is going to be deprecated, and that my tutorial needs to like be removed, but it's still not deprecated. It still works great, and I still think Windfield is the best option out there, even though the code itself is not supported anymore, and it supposedly will break when the new version comes out. So that's why I want to take this physics.lua file that I have and make it open source, because I think it would be a really, really helpful thing to bridge that gap. I'm trying to figure out where stoppable is defined. Maybe it's defined on the vessel level. Stompable. Jumpable? What does jumpable mean? Man, I am so frustrated that I have all these different words that mean the same thing. Jumpable and stoppable? What's the difference between that? I think it means you can jump on. That seems like the same thing to me. I think stoppable means you can do damage by jumping on something, and jumpable means you can jump off of it. But that seems like the same thing. I think that I could consolidate those two terms into the same thing. Code over a long time ago without documentation. Yeah, it's like I think I understand my thought process here. It's just it's all over the place. I have this jumpable variable. I don't even remember it. Yeah, so yeah, jumpable just defines if you can jump on it or not. But for some reason, stompable is defaulted to true, but jumpable is not. So is jumpable. It says that the balloons are not stompable? I kind of want them to be. Here, does that fix the issue with the balloons? Because I wasn't able to jump on the balloons either. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think there's a problem here. I don't know about that. Something about that seems off. Whoa! It's like hitting me and bouncing me. That's so cool. It's like actually pushing the character back. That is awesome. Whoa. Oh, this is weird. I think that it's like bouncing off the player, because the player has bounciness to him too. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm kind of like scatterbrained. Does the telescope have some weird property on it that I got rid of? Maybe like decor? I'm like, there's some kind of like weird hard-coded thing that's preventing me from jumping on it, making me mad. Decor, does that mean anything? Oh, that's an input mode. What if I'm still not convinced that it's a tag issue. I'm I'm gonna give it the exact same tags again as this one to see if that changes anything, but man, I'm just really frustrated by this. It's not a tagging issue at all. It's not a tagging issue. There's just some like class somewhere, like wood. Somewhere in, maybe it's in debris. Wood, maybe? Wood? No, it would have to be in prop, because this is... No, it's not in here. How do you get your ground styling so good? Is there rules you always follow to layer the dirt, dark to light patches? Really, it's just, I'm eyeballing it. Like, I appreciate you saying that, but the truth is I really am just eyeballing it. And I've been using this tile set for literally years, so I've gotten a pretty good feel for when it looks good and how it blends. But it is a layering thing too, because you can see up this list of layers. I have so many tile layers. All of these are tile layers. And the order matters a lot. The base is like the base color, the terrain is like the dirt, the deep is the water, shadows, elevation is the raised platforms, you have details like the grasses and little cracks in the ground, objects, top like the foreground, so there's so many different layers, and that is the trick, is that there's just so many different layers to make it work. Debug by adding some prints. I really do think that it's just, okay, so it says jumpable and stompable is false. But I tried changing that to true. Oh no, this is for the debris. I need to have the prop set jumpable and stoppable. Jumpable. It says jumpable is true. I'm shocked that this is so difficult, because I have a working prop that you can jump off of. I have the barrel in the box. What's different about those? Barrel. I'm certain that there's just some line somewhere that's screwing this up. Maybe it's the degrade system, because I don't have degrade options. No, that's not it. Jumpable. And when down, print it out. That is probably what I'm gonna do. But I think it's gonna take me a little bit of time to go through all of it. I still was able to do the main thing that I wanted to do, which is making the sprites and making sure that the debris particles show up. And they do. When I hit this, they show up, so everything's working. It's just I can't jump on it for some reason. And this is not just the telescope. This is this rock too. Like, why can't I jump on this rock, but I can jump fine on this? What? What's happening? I think it's a positional thing. I have no idea. I think that this is a bug with the like the collider. That was very weird. I'm gonna try making the size much bigger. Let's actually show the colliders. Does this change it? It does. It does. Okay, so that's the problem. The problem is that the collider is too small. When I have it like that, it was too small for me to jump on. And like I did it with this rock where normally it didn't jump, but if I got it right on the middle. Maybe it has to be like fully... I swear I saw it. I definitely did it. Well, that's definitely the problem. That's definitely a problem. Lua means moon in Portuguese. Hi from Brazil, and it's programming language. Yeah, that's a funny coincidence, basically, because I didn't really intend that, but the game's called Moonshire and the character's called Lua. It works out nicely. I'm a struggling indie developer who's learning Godot. I learned basics like scenes, nodes, player movement, collision, tile map, a little bit of level design. How much time will it take to become indie dev? Those topics that you're discussing sound kind of complex for someone that's still starting out. I would recommend trying to make really, really simple games. Like make Pong and make Breakout and make Mario very, very simple versions. Just to get familiarized with the basics, because I'm with you when you're like working with scenes and players and collisions. Those things are very high level. The stuff that I'm working with in my game are pretty high level. And I wouldn't want you to get overwhelmed. I think it's better to start with a very, very simple concept, because even a game like Pong, you have to learn collisions. You have to learn player input and movement and UI and keeping score and saving data. All those things still need to happen. So it makes sense to learn those things in a more approachable project compared to something that's like really intense, you know? Maybe there's anything that doesn't allow you to be on top of the prop, preventing the bounce. Let's see if I can find that logic. Mob jump. Okay, so rise. This is where it happens. Check for bounce/stomp on solids. Okay, get collisions. This is all for when it's in the... Sorry, this is all for when it's in the air. Oh, and self.mob. Okay, so never mind. This one, the thing is on the ground. Oh, no, we have a go-to. I need to get rid of this. Yeah, I can just get rid of this. I can just say this. I can say if jumpable. Then I'm going to indent all of this stuff. And say end. There was just a couple streams ago where I went on a rant about how much I dislike go to and continue. And there was no need for that to be there. You can just get rid of it. Because it breaks the flow of the code, the natural flow. So, if jumpable, solid top, Z height. I wonder if the Z height's messed up. Mob Z, solid ahead. It says Stomper must be above the target's head. 90% of Z height? Oh. I think that's the problem, is that it's just too there needs to be a minimum cap. Because 90% of Z height... So I think that if I change the telescope where it's very narrow and tall, it will still work. So I'm going to change this to a width of 2, and a height of 16. So when the height is increased, that makes the Z height higher, and I think that's the value that's causing problems. Oh, come on, I keep misclicking on stuff. Yeah, it is strictly a vertical Z height thing. And when it is a short Z height, or it's not even Z height, I think I can manually override the Z height, because I don't want the Z height to be short. I want the Z height equals, we'll say 12. Okay. I think that is going to fix the problem. The problem is that when the height is small, like 6, for example, when the height is small, the z height that naturally gets created, because you don't have to specify a z height, the z height is how tall the object is. Let me show that again. And I'll show the colliders one more time, and this is going to be the last thing we work on today. So we have this barrel, and the z height of this barrel is essentially the same as like the height, the width, or the y height, you know. Z is the conceptual height. Z is like how far off the ground it is. And I think that for this telescope, the z height that was created with this very small rectangle just wasn't high enough. And so the calculations just don't line up when the value is too small. So what I think I'm going to do is for this mob jump, where was that? Mob jump. 90% of z height, so local clearance equals other collider times 0.5. Oh, this is actually wrong. It's 50% of z height. And then I'm going to say if clearance is less than 5, then clearance equals 5. So what was happening is the z height was 6, and then it was being cut in half into 3, and so 3 was just too small of a threshold. Maybe I can even make it... No, 5 is good, because that way there can be short objects. I think that there should be. In fact, I don't know why it's not allowing me to have short objects, but I think that it's okay to have this... Sure. So with that, and I'm gonna change the telescope's z height back to the default. So does this fix the problem? Actually, I could test on this rock. Does that fix the problem for the rock? No. No, it makes it worse, actually. Yeah, that doesn't fix anything. Oh, why is that not working? I don't think I need to check anything. I think what the problem just is that this logic here needs some extra... It needs some extra something where it doesn't ignore those short cases, because long story short, the bug is if the object that you're jumping onto is very short, it doesn't trigger the jump. And are you kidding me? That was... I think that this was wrong. It was set to 0.9 a second ago. I just changed... Does that fix it? Oh wait, no. I forgot that the... No, that did not fix it. That didn't fix it. I'm kind of worried. Like the love canvas extension in VS Code. Not right now. Are these bounces still working? Okay. Look, I was able to bounce off of it just now. Dude, this is confusing. Okay, and then... Like, it's hard to jump on, but... What the heck? Dude, that's so confusing. Why am I able to jump off of it? There's something really buggy here. Look, I can't jump onto the rock from the ground. It doesn't work. But when I'm up on this platform and I jump onto it, like I walk off onto it, what the heck? There's something really strange going on with this like jump detection logic. And actually, even when I transition between high to low ground, it's getting kind of weird. I'm going to change this back to 0.9 because that's what it was before. Yeah, actually, that's the solid head. We do want it to be at 0.9. And even before, whatever, it's okay. Okay, but at the very least, I do know what the problem is. The problem is that when the Z height is too small, it prevents the jump from happening. But there's still some like awkward issue where jumping from elevated platform has different stomp logic. I don't know why that would be. It's very weird. But on that note, I'm going to call it quits. It was a really good stream. We were able to get some work done. Actually, a lot of really good stuff. So thank you for your help, and thank you for being here, everyone. I will be back next week for another Moonshire Monday, and until then, I have a lot of stuff planned for things I'm going to be working on. Like I said, I'm going to try and get my devlog out. I'm going to make a video about the Z-axis. I'm really going to try and get that out. I need more of your music, please. Well, you'll have to tune back in next week. Are you looking from the player's Z-axis or from the object's height? I think it's a combination of both of them because there's the Z height as well as the player's Z. But then the Z, there's the Z and then the elevation. They're actually different concepts that mix together. But yeah, I'll worry about that probably this evening, and we'll work a little bit more on that. I'm going to stream on Twitch again tonight. I always stream Monday night, so feel free to stop by Twitch at 7 p.m. CT tonight. That's in 7 hours. I'm going to be playing more Pocopia. I really like it. I like Pocopia. I think it's fun. So if you want to stop by and say hi, I'll be there. I'll post in the Discord about that as well. But I will be back next week for another Moonshire Monday. Thanks, everyone. Bye.